All right, got a American Lock 700 here. I figure I'll give it a try picking this a little bit different. Pick it twice. Once just kind of quickly opening it, and then the second time trying to go through and say what I'm feeling and give pointers that would work for this, and probably I think the American 1100, I think they're the same core. And then take a look if we can gut it or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you can. Go ahead and use the key. There we go. And for tensioner, I have a Sparrows. It's not the heavy flat bars, it's just the regular flat bars. One smaller than the fattest one, whatever that is. And Jimmy Long sent a bunch of new picks again, so I'll be using those pretty soon. But here are his the ones from one of the previous runs, and we'll go through, standard thing. We'll be feeling for binders and pushing them, doing some jiggle testing, whatever you normally would do to pick a lock. Like I said, not too much chatter this first time through. Once we feel what we got in here, I could probably give better commentary. This one felt, ooh, dang it. I was gonna say that fourth pin there felt like a spool. Let's try this again without losing our tensioner. I'll hold it with 2 fingers so a little bit more control. There's that fourth one. Felt like a bit of a spool. Second one. Fourth one gave me counter rotation. Oh, it's already open. All right. American Lock strikes again. All right, so what did I feel? I go in, and I generally start from the back of a lock. It's just my preference. I feel the fifth one. Sorry, I just got a little click out of it, and now I feel that it's jiggling. So I come forward. I feel the fourth one. Feels like it's binding. I click that, and now it went up quite a bit. Like, it moved a lot. So that immediately makes me suspect that that's a spool, because just a little click and then boom, it shot way up. So I'm going to leave that alone until later. 3 is not giving me any jiggle, so I'll go ahead and give that a little click there. I got some plug rotation, and now still doesn't seem to be jiggling, so I give another little click, and now I got a little tiny bit of jiggle. So that might be hard to detect. If I push up on it, I can feel a little bit better, but you don't see it as well. The second one is just it travels a lot, and then the first one, binding. So I'll click that. There we go, and we dropped into a bit of a false set after that one. So I'll go back. Second one is not there. Third one's not there. Fourth one, I just pushed it, and it just kind of oozed along the what I would think is the middle part of the spool, kind of oozed up that, and I dropped into a deeper false set as that happened. So now if I push on that and I let off some tension, I bet I feel counter rotation. Indeed I do. So I let off a little bit more, and there we go. I got to click out of that. And then I'll come forward. 3. Oh, now 2 sticking way down, and again dropped further into a false set as it oozed across that middle part of the spool. I just going into feel for the state gently, it was enough to push the spool up and give me a deeper false set. So I know that's a spool. So I'll counter rotate and push up gently on that second pin until I get to there. And now you're at the American Lock part where you're like, where's my binder? Can't find my binder because you're already open, right? So we'll take a look inside. What we're going to find is 2 and 4 are going to have spools because we felt those. 1 and 3, I think, would be serrated, And then the fifth one, it just kind of went up when I pushed on it once. You see, I stuck the pin in there when I closed it, just so that the cord, the plug doesn't flip beyond beyond the lock position. It'll often act like a plug spinner and just fly past it, and then you'd have to reset it. So that fifth pin in there, that's all I did. So either that's the bottom of a serration, like the last serration on the pin, or it's just a standard or something like that. So let's see, hopefully we can open this up. All right, what do I got? Key. So it has this, just like the 1100, it has, you know, the same kind of faceplate. So I'm guessing on the other side of this, whatever this is, there's going to be a screw. Let's go ahead and open that up. And it's not key retaining, good. And indeed, there's our Phillips head screw. Hopefully it's not in there with Loctite or anything, because I didn't really bring a good screwdriver for that. Okay, not too bad. And then that hardware falls out, whatever that piece is called. That piece falls out. And you can take now the plug out, or the core out, sorry, and a little wafer. So this is the anti-bypass wafer. It'll go on the back here. And what that will do is, without that, you can get tools to go up through your keyway like this, right? And then you can play with whatever this is supposed to turn the actuator. So you can manipulate that with an appropriate tool. This is not the appropriate tool. But when you have this little wafer here, it blocks your tools from going to access the actuator. Now there are tools that are like these punch tools that just punch right through this thin piece of metal, and then you're back to being able to mess with it. So that said, let's grab a pinning tray and we'll get into this guy. We need a gutting wrench. You know, this is from Sparrows. I have a number of gutting wrenches, but this is by far my favorite gutting wrench. So if you're going to buy stuff from Sparrows, recommend the flat bars, the heavy flat bars, the gutting wrench, and the core shims. Yeah, those are really good to have. Key, and we could drop all of our key pins out here. In fact, I just kind of screwed up, flipping at 180. No, not too bad. The drivers try to push up on the bottom of the key. I just had to push down on the key to get out of that. But we need a follower. Hopefully something with a notch. It's too small. So the one, I think I got these from Sparrows as well, these followers, but they don't have the right kind of notch at the back. So I got this 3D printed one that will, you know, go on there a bit more appropriately. So where are my key pins? My key pins are there. So I'll go ahead and push this out like this. Trying to keep it on the camera for you and at the same time. There we go. All right, take our key pins out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so these key pins, they're the American key pins. They have the serrations at the top of them, except for the really short ones on 2 and 5. So the other ones, they have these serrations on top. If you overset, you'll feel like you're just still messing with serrated pins, and yeah, you'll keep pushing on them and you'll be stuck. Nothing on the plug, and then driver pins. So in here, number 1 is a spool that I didn't feel. Right, I clicked that up twice, so I only caught on the serrated portion of this, and that's because this pin is pretty tall. Right, so the spool never even came into play. Second one, spool as expected. And those spools can be a little bit tricky because the first first click out of them is like a serrated, and then you get into the spooled bit. But this started in the spooled bit because when I pushed on it, it just kind of oozed along that spool bit. 3, it felt like a serrated, and indeed it is. So you can see this one's different. It just has serrations, no spool in the middle. The 4th one felt like a spool where we were starting in the, I don't know if we're starting in the spooled area. Yeah, and it is spool. Because we did get a little click out of it initially a bit. And then the 5th one felt, we felt the very bottom of a spool or a standard. So I mean, not a spool. The very bottom of serrated or a standard. So it's a spool, but we only felt the very bottom, right? And again, it's because it's this short pin. So the spool never came into effect on that one. For springs, they're all the same. So they're going to come out with some extra manufacturing materials. And it's interesting this one looks a little bit, for a brand new lock that looks like, it's not straight. I don't know. There we go. So that is the American 700 lock. Hopefully that helps somebody with their, like I said, it looks like I think the same core as the 1100, so you can apply this to 1100 as well. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.